to finish, to go show the good performance end of the fight, you know.
And you dropped him with that head kick in the second. Did you think you were going to be able to get him out of there in that moment?
Yeah, I just saw in some media, he happy I don't have big leg, you know. I just catch him with my fingers, and it's good shot, you know. After that, I try to land it some punch, go crazy, you know, don't control my emotion, and almost finish him.
How do you feel physically after the fight?
Round, Ian was saying something to you, kind of trying to give you a hug, touching you on the head. Beginning of the 5th round, he high-fived you. Dana White said he hates that. He wish you guys would just...
Bro, honestly, I don't understand, man. This is the fight. This is not something we have to, like, hug each other every round, you know. We're going to war to broke the face, to broke the eye, you know. That's why I respect all my opponents. But Ian, I don't know, he respect too much.
What did he say to you after the fight? Because it looked like he came and
he just said, I fight today with the greatest fighter. Yeah, I respect him, you know. He's a good guy, very kind, you know. But this is the war, you know. Look my face. I just come to beat everybody. Of course, this is some of them give 1 round or 4th rounds, but I feel I won the 3 rounds, before the last round, you know. But Khabib and all corners say you have to win the last round, and on the last round, I feel I can take him down, do something more, you know, because this 3rd and 4th round not like very tough, and I have like power to finish, to go show the good performance end of the fight.
Like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, you know, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy. When there's so much at stake, and there's also, you know, a lot of mental, you know, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy, and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck. Rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I felt like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, you know, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy. When there's so much at stake, and there's also, you know, a lot of mental, you know, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy, and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck. I felt like tonight was set up for the upset. I felt like the upset could happen tonight with so much on the line, all the records that Islam has, and he's going to break Anderson Silva's record. There's weight classes for a reason. Ian Garry is a big, rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, you know, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy. When there's so much at stake, and there's also, you know, a lot of mental, you know, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy, and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck. wish I could do that over again. You know, if he came out and tried to destroy and win that last round, you know, with everything that he had, I think it's a totally different fight. Islam went out, you know, the complete opposite now, against a bigger, strong, rangy guy who has good takedown defense, controlled him, shut him down. I don't know if he was in his head and Ian felt like he had to come out and shake hands in the 5th round or whatever, but you know, Islam did exactly what he needed to do to win that fight. When I went in after the fight and Ian Garry came over and shook my hand, Ian Garry's handshake is like a fucking vice grip, you know, and he is a big, powerful, rangy guy. And, you know, for Islam to go in and do what he did to him tonight, you know, physical and mental, if you to come out of that fucking corner like a raging fucking bull, you know, we might be having a different conversation right now.
Do you feel like Ian's too nice to his opponents? At the press conference, he wanted to build Islam up. He's been nice about him all week.
I think that Ian's a classy guy is what I think. And, you know, he always shows class. He did, you know, before the fight, he goes over and shakes, you know, all the corners' hands and all that stuff. It's great. But when that fucking bell rings, you got to switch. You got to switch all that shit off and go. And you definitely got to do it in the 5th round after the, you know, he fought a great fight against Islam, who, you know, everybody in this room and everybody else is saying, well, we might start talking about GOAT. You don't go shake the fucking GOAT's hand going into the 5th round. You come out to fucking annihilate him. I mean, that just has to be your mindset. In my humble opinion.
UFC 330 just wrapped up seconds ago in the Philadelphia, as the cool kids say, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. First time since 2019 that the UFC held an event there. That was a fight night event headlined by Justin Gaethje versus Edson Barbosa in March of 2019. This time around, they come back with the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Islam Makhachev, who makes history. 17 wins in a row for Islam Makhachev. He retains his welterweight title. As GC just said, if you were watching the post show, and the watch party, tremendous job by both GC and Rick. A, for the watch party, but B, for like actually doing it in those outfits for the entire time. I mean, the dedication to the bit. Primo, 5th fighter to defend a title in 2 different weight classes. Perhaps most importantly, in my opinion, 17th win in a row, breaking Anderson Silva's record, which was 16 wins in a row. He did not break any title defense records or anything.
The long-awaited clash between Ian Garry and Islam Makhachev is now over, giving us the chance to compare the pre-fight analysis with what actually happened inside the octagon. Before the matchup, one side of the prediction focused heavily on Garry's striking ability. His height, reach, movement, and ability to operate from long range were seen as major weapons, particularly if he could prevent Makhachev from turning the fight into a grappling battle. The opposing view was that Makhachev's wrestling, pressure, and ground game could become overwhelming if he managed to get inside Garry's striking range and bring the fight to the mat. Tim Welsh pointed to the obvious physical difference between the two competitors. Garry was listed around 6'3" and was expected to carry a considerable amount of weight, potentially close to 195 pounds. Welsh viewed that size as an important advantage. He also recognized Garry's ability to maintain distance with extended punches, kicks, and constant movement. Even with those tools, however, Welsh still regarded Makhachev as the more complete and experienced fighter. Welsh's main question was how Garry would respond when the fight became a grappling contest. He expected Makhachev to remain composed, steadily increase the pressure, and eventually work toward a single leg or high crotch takedown. Alexander Volkanovski, who had previously shared the octagon with Makhachev, offered a similar warning. In his view, Garry could not afford to become comfortable fighting from his back. Makhachev's control and pressure from the top could make escaping extremely difficult. Volkanovski expected Garry to have opportunities with his striking, distance management, and work along the cage, but he still anticipated Makhachev finding enough takedowns to control the rounds. Demetrius Johnson also entered the fight leaning toward Makhachev. His reasoning centered on Makhachev's experience at the highest level and his ability to make intelligent adjustments during a fight. Johnson emphasized Makhachev's skill at identifying openings and taking advantage of whatever the opponent gives him. For Garry, Johnson believed the key was maintaining distance, establishing the jab, and preventing Makhachev from getting into a position where he could easily initiate his grappling. Michael Bisping focused on another potentially dangerous situation for Garry, being trapped against the fence. Bisping believed Makhachev's ability to create takedown opportunities in that position could become a major problem. He also highlighted Makhachev's control from the top, ground and pound, and submission game, suggesting that Garry could have serious difficulty returning to his feet after being taken down. Bisping ultimately picked Makhachev to finish the fight by submission. Henry Cejudo had a slightly different expectation regarding the length of the contest. He thought the fight could go deeper than some predictions suggested, particularly because Garry's movement and striking could force Makhachev to work harder to establish his takedowns. Teddy Atlas, meanwhile, placed greater emphasis on Garry's physical attributes. His height, reach, and athleticism could allow Garry to dictate the range and land effective shots before Makhachev was able to enter wrestling distance. Atlas specifically pointed to Garry's jab, straight right, and long-range kicking as weapons that could keep Makhachev on the outside and potentially give Garry a path to victory. Those were the major predictions and concerns heading into the matchup. But predictions only tell one side of the story. With the fight now finished, the real question is whether those expectations matched what unfolded inside the octagon, and which analysts came closest to predicting the actual outcome.